middle. We've covered quite a bit of chapter 80 in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch that deals with the various laws of Shabbos. And let's bring up the text here. Hold on. Okay. We're holding law number 51 we read, and we're going to read it again. So let's see here. It says like this: Kelim shekarchus seviv pihem b'matlis uksharuhu b'meshicha. If you have an opening of a vessel, let's say a jar, and it's covered with a cloth and tied with a string, let's say, right, like you would make jelly or so. Mutter lekaran b'Shabbos, you can tear it open. Shizel mekalkel, you're not fixing anything, you're just breaking something. Mutter l'tzarech Shabbos, because of the Shabbos, it's permitted. So it's let's bring up the number 162 again. There's numerous details involved in this halacha, and you should ask a posik. I mean, it's because there's certain ideas that we're going to try to bring up now in the spreadsheet that one has to ask. Again, still must ask to find out if you have any doubt whatsoever. The main rules are, number one, whatever may be opened must be opened in a way that the wrapper, etc., cannot be used after being opened. So you're not creating something by opening it. We'll see what that means in a second. It must be opened in whatever cannot be used after being opened. Number two is you do not tear letters or pictures. Number three is you may not open a bag on its seam, because then it's being done the way it should be done. So you have to do it with a shinoi, something a little off. And number four is you may not open something in a way that will form a spout. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up a little bit of something I prepared. I can't, again, take responsibility 100% that everything's accurate here because I just put it together. But it gives us a basic idea, if my documents allow. Hold on. Let's see if it works. Oh, here we go. Okay. Are you guys able to see it? Yeah. So we have like this halachic background. Oops.
Yeah, I can see it.
This is a halachic background. What's the issue here? We have the issues of opening something. So opening bottles or packages on Shabbos can touch on several melachos or gezeros. It could touch on certain doings or prohibitions, the things that we've kind of made a gezer. We were careful to protect the laws of Shabbos. You have makav patish, completing utensil. In other words, making a usable bottle from a sealed container. So that's what he said before in the footnote. We have to be careful that when you open something, you're not creating something, because it has to be destroying at best, mekalkel. But if you're creating a keli, a vessel, you're completing that. It should be now a usable vessel on Shabbos. That's the problem of makav patish. You have soser, demolishing if one breaks existing structures, that is considered a utensil. Tearing in a constructive way, that's why he said don't do it on the seam. Mechokek, erasing like letters, symbols, or designs. Bona, building a container from packaging. Or uvdin l'chol, if it's weekly actions. So he says like this, opening a sealed utensil for the first time, if the vessel is meant to last, like a bottle, jar, or can intended to be reused, opening it for the first time is also because it's making a kli. Means if the vessel couldn't be used until now you're opening it and making it a vessel. So you're making something that could be used. If it's a temporary container meant to be thrown away like a bag or paper wrapper, you may open it, but not in a neat, professional way, tear destructively. Like she said before, don't open it on the seam. Hey, Rebecca. Next, glass bottles sealed with cork. Means opening for the first time, like making a vessel, may be usher. However, if the seal is only a stopper and the bottle was already complete vessel before, it's mutter. In other words, if you take a cork out of a wine, it's not a problem because the glass was a full glass. You just put it in to stop it. Now you're taking it out. So you're not creating the vessel by opening it. Breaking something and creating a new opening, creating a pouring spout or a new mouth in a container is considered making a vessel. So therefore it's usher. If the container already had an opening and you're just enlarging it slightly if it improves the kli. If you're making a better vessel because you're making it wider, that's also a prohibition. It's possible, if possible, if opening destroys letters, mutter if not done for the purpose of erasing, but to avoid if possible. It means we'll see. There's different ideas about the letters. The letters, again, like cakes. Some people say we're going to see that in the next halacha that talks about that to if you're just going to bite into letters, and so it seems in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, if also you're just eating it like that to break letters is not so difficult. But if you, it's the precautions is basically to have usually, let's say, a frosting. People are careful to put a frosting on a frosting plate so you don't have to cut the cake, cut the letters. He says, Rabbi Farkash brings down, he says in his Shabbos halacha, hold on, Barbara. When it comes to bottle caps, soda cans, yogurt lids, vacuum packs, so he says like this. Let's just, you know what, Barbara, ask your question, then we'll continue with Rabbi Farkash's points.
I'm just having problems with the audio. It's really distorted. Is anybody else having problems?
Aaron, do you hear?
No, it's perfect on my end. But I will ask one question.
Sure.
One of many questions I have, but I'll ask it over the course of the class. But the first question is, someone said you can open a package and rip the letters of English, but not of Hebrew.
I have to check that. I haven't seen.
I could be totally wrong. He could be totally wrong. But the point is, that's what I heard.
There's no prohibition in Shabbos that says there's a difference between writing Hebrew letters or English letters. So the prohibition of ripping, which falls under the writing or erasing issue, it shouldn't be a difference between Hebrew and non-Hebrew letters. Sorry, Barbara, did you have a question besides the audio?
No, I got it fixed. I unplugged my headphones and plugged them back in, and that fixed it.
Okay, perfect. So great.
My other question is that when you open up, okay, so you have small bags of chips and you have large bags of chips. And so sometimes me, my son, whoever's in my house, doesn't matter. You're going to open them because you decided now you want to eat it. You didn't decide before Shabbos, so you didn't open up all your bags because that's impractical. So you're going to open them up and it's going to make a way so you can reseal it. You're not going to rip it so that you can't use it. And that means you got to take the chips and put them somewhere else.
No, but that bag of chips also, talking about, there you're not ripping boards. You could open it up, just opening the bag.
No, but I'm saying it said open. You said open it in a way that is.
Yeah, but a bag of chips is not really a kli, and you don't keep it. It's just a question of when you're going to throw it out. We're going to see there's a difference if you throw it out right away, you're throwing it out within a few hours, within 24 to 30. Means there's keeping a bag. People who keep a bag of chips. Let's say you buy a big bag of chips, of Lay's chips, and you open it. You don't have to eat the entire bag of chips in one sitting. You'll close it or seal it, with a clipper or something. But eventually, you're going to finish the chips and throw it out. You're not keeping the bag as a bag, right?
Okay. Now, what about wine? Is that a stopper or is...
No? So he said wine is not a problem because wine, the bottle of wine is made. You're just putting in a cork. It's different than if you're not creating a vessel by decorking a wine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Barbara. But first of all, I want to thank Howard mentioned that he's watching on YouTube and he says the audio is coming in fine. Thank you, Howard. Okay, Barbara, yes?
Yeah. So when you have like a can of Coke and it's got that opening on it, that's making a vessel then. So that wouldn't be allowed.
So let's get to that. We're going to go through that right now.
Okay.
Okay, so we have like this bottle caps and different complications. So bottle caps, metal or plastic? Metal caps with plastic liner, right? First opening separates the liner and creates a usable cup. So you have like a usable cup, which can be this is considered a tukin kli and usher. So there's opinion that opening, that's why a lot of people will first open their cans of Coke, their bottles of Coke before, because by the liner being separated, now it becomes used as it could be a tiny cup. You could take a little shot. Plastic caps that tear a ring, right? So you have, let's say today, a lot of the tops are not metal anymore. There'll be a plastic that has the ring that seals it, and then you tear the ring, right? So if you want to open that on Shabbos, so plastic caps tear a ring like soda bottles. First opening detaches the safety ring, enabling it to reuse is also, right? Because until then, you couldn't use the top because the safety seal was holding it in. Now, by disconnecting the safety seal from the safety, now you could use it as a receptacle. Permitted solutions is loosening before Shabbos or break destructively, so it's not usable as a proper cap. Yeah, yes, Aaron.
Okay, so she had brought up, and now you're bringing up the
Barbara, but don't say she.
Oh, sorry, Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay. So the can of Coke. So I'm gonna tell you what my rabbi said, because one time I donated a whole bunch of Cokes spiced Cokes to the shul, and we put them out on Salashudas. The rabbi said as this: I never like to put them out because there's a number of people who believe we cannot open it on Shabbos, and for that reason, we like to keep to the stricter of the people in the shul so no one feels uncomfortable. But now that you put it out, I'm not telling you not to open them, but next time maybe it'd be better if you don't put them out, and we could use them on our Tuesday learning.
Okay, very good. Very good, very good. Let's continue. Permitting solution before cans. Okay, food cans meant to be emptied and discarded, like you throw them out or put in the recycling, is mutar, permitted to open destructively, make a jagged tear, so it's unusable afterwards. Again, these are precautions more. That's what your rabbi was saying, Aaron, that these are more precautions. If you, again, you have to be careful also in not hurting yourself. You're not going to cut yourself on sharp metal, etc. If you plan to keep the can as a container, also to open on Shabbos because you're creating a receptacle. Vacuum sealed jars like jam and pickles, right? It's like locked in. First time opening, removing the seal and breaking the vacuum is fine if the jar was finished vessel before Shabbos. Like, let's say you're buying, today you buy the glass. The glass was a glass, and it wasn't. You're not creating a keli. The top isn't a keli, so you're not ripping anything, not breaking anything. But there's that kind of like, when you crack open for the first time the bottle, a thing of pickles. So that seal is not a proper seal in the way that you're breaking anything or creating something. So therefore, it's permissible. But an opening involving cutting the metal lid so that the lid becomes a usable cap, it's also, again, because it's the same problem. You're creating a receptacle by making the lid something that can be used. Plastic and sealed shrink wraps. Mutter to tear destructively if it's just packaging, not part of a kli. Again, like I'm saying, a bag of chips, no one, besides children who maybe fill it up with sand, but it's not a receptacle, a proper receptacle to say that a bag of chips is considered a receptacle. Milk cartons, juice boxes. Also to open in the normal way if it creates a spout, because then you're making a tikkun keli. Tikkun keli means you're making the vessel usable. So without the spout, it wasn't usable. By creating the spout, it makes it usable. Mutter to puncture or rip destructively, because you're not going to use it again. Challah bags and snack bags. Okay, here you go to Aaron's questions. Mutter to tear destructively, avoid cutting along the seam like weekday. So you're doing something that's not regular. You're doing it in a different way, so you're not opening it in a regular way. Yogurt caps, I guess the foil on top of the yogurts or foil lids. He says. So Howard's asking about Ziploc bags. Ziploc bags would be you're not tearing anything. Although a Ziploc bag would be like a pickle jar because everything was there already. So you're just like sealing it, but you're not creating a seal or creating a vessel. Yogurt cap. I think. Thank you, Howard, for your question. Again, if you ask anything, I can see it pop up on my other computer. So feel free to ask any additional questions. Yogurt cups and foil lids. Generally mutter since the cup was already a vessel. Means that actually, in Israel we have let's say the leaven or whatever they call the yogurts that they have. I'm not a yogurt eater, so it's not really my thing. But if you take off the silver foil, it's very much usable as a cup. But the thing is, you're not making anything. There's just a seal. It's the difference between the soda cap. That's a seal is not the problem with the bottle. The problem is the cap itself. Because there's a seal that it's not usable as a cap, as a cup, so to say, before because it's sealed and locked in and you're tearing it. So you're making it into a cup, even though it's a tiny little cup, but you could have a shot of whiskey or a little l'chaim, right? So it's considered a cup. Whereas the yogurt foil top is not usable, so it's not something you're going to use. And the yogurt cup itself was a cup before, so you didn't create anything. So generally, mutter, since the cup, hold on, Howard, since the cup was already a vessel, you're just removing the cover. Yes, Howard.
So, okay. Now I'm gonna say before Shabbos and after Shabbos started, you buy cartons of milk, especially if you buy the Kol Yisrael, they come in the half gallons, and the single serving ones as well. They come in cartons where you're making a spout after opening it. So you can't open them on Shabbos.
So he was saying that the spout issue is one or two things. Either you could create the spout before Shabbos, or you make it open in a way that's destructive, so it doesn't make it usable again.
It's never usable after you finish the milk, but while you're using the milk throughout a couple of days, the spout can be reused that time before.
So create the spout before Shabbos.
Okay.
All right. So let's just be careful with printed letters. Try not to rip through words. Okay. So we have over here a bit of a just a list. Again, I'm not. This is a class that would. I'm not taking responsibility 100% for this list, but just to go through the issues, we're going to have to learn it again from the actual source, the text. This is just gathered from the texts. A wine bottle cork is just a stopper, so it's mutter. Metal cap with ring soda. It's for so if you're creating the metal cap that is that little plastic inside. So it wasn't usable because it only became a cap usable after you disconnected that seal. So it's usher, unless you reopened it before Shabbos, or make cap if you break cap in a way it's not usable again. Plastic cap with safety ring is usher. Jam pickle jar with metal lid. So if you're not creating the bottle, like the jar is a jar before, so it's permissible. You're just breaking the seal. You're just breaking the suction. Food cans, throw away. It's only mutter in the way of if you're destroying it by opening it, and also do not make a neat opening. Can to keep as container. So to make a can that opening that wasn't usable before, that's also prohibited. Vacuum sealed plastic wrap is mutter destructively. Again, Howard's question was about a Ziploc bag. The Ziploc bag is different than a sealed bag. Okay, a Ziploc bag is not, you don't have to open a Ziploc bag by ripping it in a way that because you're not creating anything. The Ziploc bag was all fully done before it just was zipped in. Now you're zipping it out. Yes, Howard, Aaron.
Okay. So you said if you're going to keep the can, you can't open it. If you're going to throw it immediately away, fine. What if it has some collectible status? So it has a picture of Star Wars Superman or something on it. You're never going to use it as a vessel. You just want the outside beauty of it, and you're going to save it. Should you not open it?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm not going to answer 100% with certainty, but as a collectible item goes, the value is decreased because you opened it. Had you kept it unopened, right, it'd be more valuable
Correct,
usually.
but then the thing, I always make the joke, then the bugs come, and then it's not worth anything anyways.
And
But I'm saying sometimes
what'd you say?
I said, like with boxes of cereal, for instance, the bugs come, and then it's not worth anything anyways.
Okay, that's
But that's
fine.
just my joke. But
Yeah,
I'm saying I understand what you're saying. But
it-
sometimes they're not worth anything, but you still want to keep it. It's not
No,
going to.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not going to give a definitive answer, but I'm leaning towards that it'd be okay because it's not being used as a vessel and you're not increasing in its value. But let's put a pin on that.
Okay, but I see you're American because you know about collectibles. Keep the thing intact, totally.
Exactly. Vacuum sealed plastic carton, juice box, milk cartons, also for making a spout. Rip, you could note how to open it, rip by side jagged, whatever. So you're making it in a way that's not usable. Even like I'm not exactly clear about the cartons you're talking about for milk, but I think you could still open the top even if it has the spout. Snack.
You never seen when you went to school in America, they give you a carton of milk.
Yeah, I'm saying the top of the car, you could open it the old-fashioned way of just ripping the top.
There's no other way. You have to open it from side A or side B, and it makes a
Okay,
triangle.
Yes, I'm not familiar. Okay, let's go. So, a juice box, milk carton, sorry, snack bread bag, mutter destructively, mutter destructively. Again, we're not talking about a vacuum, a Ziploc. Yogurt lid is mutter, we said. Okay, what do we have over here? This is just a repeat of what we had before. Okay, let's go back to, hold on a second. I think we have one more chart that I wanted to look at. Okay, we're gonna get to this one in a second, the cutting of the cakes. All right, so we have over here, Asir latu chum bal chai b'Shabbos. You can't hunt or catch anything alive on Shabbos. You're not allowed to trap animals on Shabbos. Okay, so what is that? What happens then? Where's the concern? Obviously, basic concern is to actually go hunting. Is obviously prohibited on Shabbos. Prohibited on Shabbos. Then you have the question of if a bird comes into your house or a deer comes into your field and you close the door. These are all different ways of tzayid of hunting. But here we're talking about more kind of domestic issues. Most people don't deal with trying to hunt deer in their backyard. But afilu paroish asur litvais. You can't even, it's forbidden even to catch a flea on Shabbos. But what happens if there's a bug on you that's biting you, stinging you? Because it's causing pain and discomfort. Is you could remove it by your hands, not to kill it. You're not allowed to kill it, but you could pick it up and move it off your hand, off your body. Yes, Aaron.
So this brings up another issue. All these bring up issues. So in New York, some places have mice or cockroach problems. So you put up a trap. It's either glue or what you consider a mouse trap. So you put it up before Shabbos because you notice it. You're not going to put it up on Shabbos, but you're going to leave it all week until it traps whatever you're trying to trap, and it might trap it on Shabbos. So what, you got to take it apart and put it away on Shabbos?
No, okay. So first of all, like you said, you put it on Shabbos, and it's not even set up on the weekday to catch specifically on Shabbos. It's set up to catch whenever it catches. It's up to now. It's the mouse's problem if the mouse is going to go into the trap on Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, or Sunday, right? You set it up. A person who has mouse traps or rat traps in their basements, you don't have to disconnect them on or put them away on Shabbos.
But then I noticed that there'll be bugs that are bothering us. And my son will say, "You can't kill it. You can't kill it. Open the window and shoo it away. You
Okay, that's
cannot
what
kill any bugs."
so you're not paying attention. We just said that if there's something that's bothering you, biting you, you can't kill it, but you could remove it with your hand. That's it.
No,
So
we're
that's
afraid it might bite me or it might bother me.
okay.
It's not the window.
Okay. So you're allowed to open the window to let it out because actually you're not trapping it.
Right.
So
But
you're actually releasing it.
so my son's doing the right thing, saying that not to kill it.
Yes, but it says Mishum Sarda. No, you're not allowed to kill it. Mutal Zarka, Litla Zarka, you could take it and remove it. I will also Laharga, it says clearly to continue. You're not allowed to kill it. Ki also Laharg Shum Balcha, you're not allowed to kill any living being on Shabbos. However, there's one difference. The difference is kinim, lice. Kivin Shehem is Havis Rak Minazeh, because they're not created, they're only created by sweat. Mutal Hargan, you're allowed to kill them because not really killing something that's alive. Mikol Makim, Elu Sheba Begadim Asal Hargan, but the ones that are on the clothing, we're only talking about lice in the hair. But obviously, if you're living in a situation where there's body lice or clothing lice, that's different because it's not always clear if it's a lice or if it's a flea, and then it could be an animal. Elenaitel and Zarkan, you should take it off and physically and remove it.
Lice is not an animal; it's a bug.
It's a but it's a bug. It's not created through. It's reproduced through sweat. It's a bacterial thing. Therefore, it's not considered something it's not the kind of life like a that's reproduced. It has a special status. I mean, it's the Gemara talks about these things. So it's like maggots or things like that. But the ones in their head can be killed because again they're only created through sweat. Footnote number 163. In a place where many ants are found, you must be careful not to step on them. The Alter Rebbe says, for instance, walking on the sidewalk or places where there's tons of ants, you have to be careful not to kill the ants. So you have to be careful also, I guess, in the walking in the garden, etc. 164. Because fleas are found there too, meaning together with the body lice, So you may come to kill a flea, so says the Magen Avram. So the lice itself is not a problem because it's created by sweat. It's not reproduced by, so to say, female male. But if it's on the body and the body could have fleas, so we're not sure if it's a lice. Where in the hair, it's usually just a lice. Okay. Which means basically, I'm not going to go into, again, we have to study the details of the law, which means basically, I mean, there's no difference between that or putting, lice shampoo in on Shabbos. Yes, Barbara.
Yeah, I have a question. Now, I live in an area where I get like these crazy ants in. I don't kill them myself, but I have orchid coming out and spraying around my house because here again, you get an ant infestation in your house, and that's going to destroy your house. It can cause damage to your house. So, what about that? I mean, the orchid's not coming out on Shabbat and doing it, but they are coming out. So
You were saying you get an orchid like a kind of plant?
no. It's a business that comes out and sprays. They spray around my
Oh, you mean
to prevent.
to bring the exterminator?
Yes, to prevent them from coming around my house. So
Um,
they spray a chemical and it repels the ants or something.
so again, so then you're doing that before Shabbos.
Right. Okay. So I was concerned I was killing them and I couldn't kill them. And I'm thinking, no, I don't want ants in my house. Okay.
No. You can't call the exterminator on Shabbos, but the exterminator can come on Shabbos to if work. But again, there's different laws. For instance, hold on, Aaron. If you're living in public buildings where they have an exterminator coming through the building on Shabbos, so that's different. That's a building management issue. Or for instance, we used to go to Palm Springs, so you would have exterminators coming all the time in the public areas of Palm Springs to kill the bugs. But to have someone comes privately to your home and kill the bugs on Shabbos, you're not allowed to do that.
Okay. That clarifies it. Thank you.
No problem. Aaron?
Okay, so I just looked up AI because I'm really confused about lice. So it says lice reproduction by laying eggs called nits, which are then attached to the hair shafts near the scalp. Female lice glue these nits to their hair using a sticky secretion. The nits hatch in the nymphos, which then molt and mature into adults capable of reproducing themselves.
Reproducing themselves, meaning?
I don't know. I mean, I could go on and read. I could go and search more, but this is
It's kind of asexual. They do it themselves. They're kind of hermaphroditic. They have male and female capability, kind of like.
All right. Well, I guess it has to be more examined, but I'm just quoting what the halacha says about the zeya, about the sweat being a.
It comes in contact with your sweat probably because that's how they find you. But I don't think it's like my son once said, or my daughter, well, we had rice and there's a bug in it. He says, the bug just appears because it's old and it dries out. No, they laid an egg in the bag, and when they sealed it, you try to take the black pieces out. That's hopefully the one with the egg in it. But if you leave it long enough, the egg will hatch, and then you see the bugs, and they disgusting. But you don't know. It's not just coming. It doesn't just poof out of nothing. This isn't bacteria. But I'm not an expert, so don't quote me.
I know we have to look into again. I think even if you're saying they're asexual, but it's not. Yeah. Obviously, there's nits and lice is something that if someone has lice, the next person has lice. So obviously, it's not just created through sweat. It multiplies because if one person has lice, it gives life to other people. So there is a reproduction there. But I have to check into it again. More detail why this would be different than sort of say the reproduction of other fleas. It seems like let's check into that about the lice because lice is definitely something that if you send your kid to camp today, girls, it's not we don't find that so much by boys, but in girls camps, at least in the Jewish girls camps, they won't let you go to camp if you haven't been certified, checked by someone for lice.
They wouldn't let my son back into school, in grade school, I think preschool, whatever it was. And he had to go to a place that actually you pay them to check for lice and try to give you first treatment. But what I wanted to say, I mean, I had to shave my head when I was younger and got lice. I think I got it on a train ride to Chicago from St. Louis.
Okay,
and then I shaved my head.
It obviously multiplies.
But you know what you said? if a mosquito bites you, you're allowed to kill it. Nits.
I didn't say if a mosquito bites you, allowed to kill it. I said
Then I thought if something was bothering you, you could kill it.
I didn't say you could kill it. I said you could. It says no. Clearly, it says you cannot kill it. You could take it with your hand, making sure not to kill it, and pull it off you.
But someone said, like, if there was a poisonous snake that would kill you,
A poisonous snake and a mosquito is not the same thing, unless you're worried about the malaria or the different diseases. But
okay, I get these things confused. I'm not an expert.
No. If you're talking about a snake biting you, something else. But here we're talking about that's pikuach nefesh. But here we're talking about just being annoyed by a bug or a bee. If you're allergic to bees, it's different than just a regular person who gets stung and it hurts. So if there's a bee on you, you could take it, you remove it. You don't have to let it bite you. If you'd be deathly allergic to a bee, that would be something different.
Okay, thank you.
But we do have to check the lice over here again. Yesh lihizar, a person should be careful. If you're covering something that there's, kids, fleas or bugs in a jar. So or even fruit flies. So you make sure that you try to get the birds out, the bugs out, the flies out first, so you don't trap them, because by closing it, you're trapping them. When you close it, you're trapping the fleas or the bugs, so to say, in the jar. So you have to be careful. Basically, if you can, try to get them out first. If not, you don't have to be very careful to make sure there's not one fly, because it's you have no intention to trap them. You're just closing the jar. So whatever you see easily, try to shoo away. But to sit there with the magnifying glass to see if there's anything alive in the jar before you close it, that's not required, because there's no intention here. 165, he quotes the Bir Halacha and the Taz. Aser lahaitzi dam afilu dam shebein hashinayim aser limtzos. He says it's forbidden to draw blood on Shabbos. It is forbidden even to suck blood from the gums. Okay. And he says it's also forbidden to dress a wound with a dressing that draws out the blood. And even more so. You can't squeeze like a zit or something that's going to bring out blood, or pus. So you have to be careful about that on Shabbos. So obviously, therefore, we don't floss, and that's why we're very careful in brushing. We have Shabbos toothbrushes. We have a dentist here in Yerushalayim, South African dentist, who's very careful, and he went to all the Rabbanim, and he found the permissible toothbrushes on Shabbos that are called Shabbos toothbrushes, that are very, very kind of a soft brush that doesn't cause bleeding in the gums. Okay. Tzitzin shehem kemin ritzui stakis sheper soimi or ha'etzba saviv hatzipoiren. This happens all the time, especially in winter, when you get dry skin around the nails, right? Those little dry, kind of stringy around your finger or foot nails. So asal harsiran, you cannot remove those annoying dry skin. Bein bikli, bein biyad, bein b'shinayim. You should not remove it, not with a clipper, or not with your hand or your teeth. Vitziparin, and this is also I always get like uncomfortable when I read this law. Vitziparin shenifrash rubai vikarav lihinatek umitzarai. What happens if you have a nail that kind of just got cut off? It's almost totally off, and it's really painful. So mutal asir biyadav lebekli. You can use your hand, but not a vessel. V'im lai peiras, meaning a clipper. V'im lai peiras rubai, but if it's not mostly or majority of it hasn't been disconnected for the nail, as asil asir fil biyad, then you're not allowed to remove it even with your hand. So you have to just kind of tough it out for the rest of Shabbos. 166. Since most of the nail is separated, it is almost certain to be separated completely. Basically, the Mishnah Berurah says the reason why, if it's separated mostly, you could remove it with your hand, not with the clipper, is because it's anyways going to fall off soon. But if it's not that much, then it's prohibited because you're causing something. It's also prohibited to do so with your teeth, not just by your hand. He adds that as well. Okay. Yes, Barbara.
Sometimes this is a woman saying, if you get a torn nail like that, you can use a little bit of super glue on that. Can you do that? Could you do that on Shabbos? Because you're not removing it, you're just putting a little bit of super glue on it to hold the nail there.
Interesting question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to check. I'm not sure. I mean, is that something people do?
Yeah. I mean, if I get a broke nail and I don't want to clip my nails or whatever, I will put a little bit of super glue on there and that will hold the nail until it'll either grow out a little bit or I can get home and I can clip it.
Okay, interesting. I never thought of that. But let me check into that. That's interesting. We have a few things ready we have to check into. We have to check into the lice. And we have to check into, we had another thing that you asked me, Aaron, about the collectible items and Shabbos. Okay, and we have this the super glue on the nails. All right. Another law. It says Asr lishvaich. Yeah, Barbara, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to remind Rebecca about her homework.
No. Rebecca's on it. It's work. It's work in progress. She will get to that soon when she's ready. Okay. Asr lishvaich letoich hachometz shar mashkin shis avogam kin chemes. Okay, this is something else. Creating means to mix other liquids into vinegar, and it's going to cause the vinegar is so strong, it's going to cause the other liquids. So not in a way that's diluting it, but it's causing it will cause the rest of the liquids to become vinegar. So then you're creating the sort of say vinegar on Shabbos, that's prohibited on Shabbos. Because he says, the Taz says, because it's considered pickling, so you're pickling the liquid, which is rabbinically similar to cooking. See Mishnah Brura 321:15. Yes.
So when you put vinegar, balsamic vinegar with olive oil, that's okay because I use that as salad dressing.
Yeah, that first of all, that's a good. That sounds so simple. That's a good question. It's a good question. If you use it, if pickling is a process, right? You pickle
I
something.
know what pickling is. My wife does it.
No. Yeah, I'm saying, but the pickling is something you do that takes time. Making a salad dressing, usually you mix it together and you eat it right away. So we've learned about the eating right away idea, that things that are done, that if you, for foods that are eaten right away is permitted, whereas to create something is different. It seems from law number 56, the issue is where you're going to pour a liquid into the vinegar, and now the liquid is going to become, so to say, the other liquid is going to be pickled by the vinegar.
Okay, but here's the other thing about
But here, no, my point is that by mixing the oil with the vinegar, so it could be similar, but you're using it right away. It could be different.
Okay, but the other thing I'm going to bring up, just so that maybe it'll help you make the decision. If you mix it right away, it's mixed. But if you wait a while, or if you just pour them together before you shake it, they're separate. It's like oil and water.
That's the oil part of it. Yes. The oil doesn't mix with other liquids, so that's a good point. But at the same time, also the you're not, pouring vinegar on a salad is not called pickling the salad because it's just a dressing.
Oh, yeah, because that could pickle the lettuce if you leave it long enough.
It's saying if you leave it long enough, but you're eating
That
it.
would be that would be coleslaw, or no, pickled cabbage, and people eat that. Oh, I know what it's called. You put it on hot dogs, but I forget the name. But yeah,
Sauerkraut.
sauerkraut, and that would end up with sauerkraut. But you're eating it before it even gets a chance.
That's what I'm saying. So when what he's talking about over here is in a way that you're making it sit. It seems like it.
But that's the same thing as cooking because you're actually changing the form.
Yeah, you're not allowed to pickle on Shabbos. But here
Right, I know that, but I'm just saying.
You're not by pouring a drop of vinegar on a salad on Shabbos and eating it within a reasonable amount of time. That's not pickling.
Right. Because you need to pickle it for at least 2 weeks to really have a pickle.
Or a certain amount of time, yeah. Okay, the law is like this. We know kosher, we salt our meats. So we have to draw out the blood. And after 3 days of the blood after the slaughtering, and you haven't yet salted your meat, so the blood that's in the meat make the meat prohibited to be eaten after 3 days. So what you can do is you could wash it. So wash it just to give yourself time. So if you don't wash it out properly, soak it, it's going to become prohibited. You can ask a non-Jew to wash it, but a Jew himself is not allowed to do it. So here we're permitting asking a non-Jew to do something for you, but you yourself can't do it.
Is there any difference in the time between Sephardics and Ashkenaz and Chabad? Because when I was in a Sephardic butcher, they put a big sign up, and it was like I think so many. I don't remember exactly what the sign said, but it said so many days, and then you couldn't eat it, and you had to like there's another process you had to do, or you couldn't use it.
And then again, I don't understand what was happening.
Okay, so you're saying 3 days, but I don't remember if it was exactly 3 days. But in the Sephardic, they never put this up in the Ashkenaz ones in Brooklyn. But in one of the Sephardic butchers, he put up a thing that our meat meets the qualifications. It's been butchered and salted within so many days, and no
Okay.
other place did it. So I got like,
Okay,
is their law different? Is Chabad's different?
No, they're just showing that they had a precaution in that issue. Yes, Danny.
Rabbi, can I put something in the chat about it was something that we were learning a few weeks ago about it was a question that Rebecca had about the light bulb in the refrigerator on Shabbos.
Yes.
It I came across it because I have the same problem and I was trying to figure it out, and I actually I found it on this kosher it's called Kosher Innovations. It's called Kosher Fridge Ease, and it's just this like Velcro, like it's sold by this kosher company, and you put it, it's like a little Velcro strap, and it covers the light bulb like on Shabbos.
Well, sure. That would be great if you could post that, and everyone should, anyone who wants could go to the chat on the Zoom and
You can
check
find
it
it
out.
in Brooklyn in the Jewish stores. This is Brooklyn. I'm sorry if you don't.
But I'm assuming the Velcro, Danny, doesn't cover, doesn't, it's not about covering the bulb, but covering the switch, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're covering the bulb, it doesn't really help much.
No, it
No,
covers
it
the
doesn't.
switch so you don't open the refrigerator and the light turns on, and you close the refrigerator and the light turns off. It makes it, the switch is always in a way that it won't turn on the light.
Yeah, so I'm saying
Yeah,
it's a switch issue, not a bulb issue.
But I just
yeah.
unscrew the
But
bulb.
then, Aaron, let Danny finish. What do you say?
I think it just prevents the bulb from turning on. It like keeps
Yeah.
the bulb from turning on like
Yeah,
during
yeah.
Shabbos, and then you can remove this little like Velcro strap after Shabbos.
Excellent. So please do post that. I just wanted, and I wanted to say that, for instance, to put a sock or I guess a special design sock over the bulb on Shabbos, that's not going to help the problem. Like, and not just it's not about seeing the light versus sort of say the light going on. The problem is turning on the lights. So if you're going to you have to prevent the switch from going off. It doesn't help to cover or unscrew the bulb if you can, but it doesn't help to cover the bulb, so to say. That's not the solution. But thank you. I see you've posted it on the chat. Anyone could, Rebecca or anyone could push the link and see more for more information. I think you have to do so before the class is over. Okay. So for Aaron, so it says over here 169. So meat must be salted within 3 days after the slaughtering. If it was not salted, it must be thoroughly rinsed, or else it becomes straight forbidden.
Oh, and I think the sign also mentioned liver. There's a different rules on liver.
Yeah, livers, yes, how the liver is prepared. Okay, Aser limorich ritia. Okay, we're going to do one more law, then there's open to questions. Okay, let's just do one more law here. Aser limorich ritia. It's forbidden to smear plaster or wax or tar. V'chein shayva zefes, or like what do they call it? You have on the walls. People put on what's that white stuff? People,
Plaster.
plaster.
Spackle. Spackle.
Okay, thank you. And l'chein also litin shayvas shal oishemen of benekev l'satma l'dapkoi al ezedaver l'simon. So you can't use wax or hard or congealed oil to cover something over, smooth something over, or to even to make a simon, a sign. Avamutter limroich kigoin chema ala lechem kadema, but it's obviously not forbidden to put peanut butter or margarine or butter on a piece of bread to eat. So there's difference between smearing something that's blocking or on Shabbos, which is a kind of in the building issue, whereas just smearing butter, margarine, mayonnaise, whatever it is that you
But
do.
what about smearing? Because someone said, I mean, my son won't use deodorant that you have to use the spray kind on Shabbos.
Okay, that's the same idea of smearing if the stick is that could be the same problem, yes. Some people use liquid soap on Shabbos, but Igros Moshe says that it is better. Let me I didn't see. Some people use liquid soap on Shabbos, but Igros Moshe, meaning Rav Moshe Feinstein, says that it is better not to use it. Liquid soap on Shabbos, smearing the soap. So
Then what
that's
do? You can't use soap because even a hand soap is smearing.
it's an excellent question.
Well, our rabbi said if you're worried about smearing, add a little water to your hand
Yeah,
soap.
so I think that's what I'm saying. I think he's talking about a thick liquid soap. Whereas if you turn it into like a very if you add water, so it's more of a liquid, it doesn't smear. Yes, Rebecca.
That's what I was gonna ask. I thought that if it's like a watery kind of like if the liquid soap is a little bit watered down, then it's okay, right?
Say that again.
I thought that if the liquid soap is kind of like watery, like thinner and not thick, then it's okay, right?
Yeah. That's what we were discussing just there. I'm seeing over here the two. He says that the Igros Moshe Feinstein says it's even forbidden to use toothpaste that's thick. Some people have like will
A
dip that
watery,
a watery
like
tooth.
a thinner toothpaste. Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, so we have that's a
So is the problem with those things that you're like changing the form of it from like something thick to something like
No, you
bubbly?
do it.
Is that the problem?
No, it's the smearing of it, like it's the pasting of it.
But let me ask,
Oh,
let's make sure that we not make this such a big deal because even when it's not Shabbos, some of the Hasidics, and it's in Brooklyn, and it's only the ones I've seen. I've not seen everyone, but when I watch in the Hasidic shul, when I go daven sometimes there, they don't wash with soap, and they say it doesn't say you have to. It says just use they do the ritual washing 100% perfect. They don't miss a beat. But when it comes to using soap, they don't always use soap. And even in my shul, the ritual washing starts off with how to wash your hands with soap, because I don't know why they don't, but it's just a thing.
No,
And
but it's the biggest Moshe, the Igros Moshe, the Reb Moshe Feinstein says not to use thick soap. If you water, if it's a liquid, a total liquid, as opposed to a gel, then it seems like it'd be a bit different. I mean, the wording they use here, obviously, the text in these footnotes are not the original text. It's just taken from the original text. But he uses the word liquid soap on Shabbos. The issue is the thickness. If it's very, very loose, like Rebecca was pointing out, waterized and everything, so then you're not spreading anything. But like or to dip your Shabbos toothbrush into mouthwash is also not an issue because it's not a toothpaste. Or if you waterize the toothpaste. Well, Rebecca, what kind of you yourself make that liquid or you buy it?
no, so I think it's Crest and Soap together. They make this kind of toothpaste that's like more like watery kind of. I know there is like a from brand of toothpaste called like Adwa or whatever. That's for Shabbos. I don't know if it's like Sparty, but that's really like a liquid. I don't use that. I use the one made by like Crest and Scope together. It's just, it's like, I mean, it's not like exactly like a liquid, but it's much like what like liquidier than the what comes out of the tube.
All right. Food for thought. Again, so yeah, these are all issues that we don't pay attention to all the time, and then we have to be more careful when it comes. That's why.
Right.
That's,
And people need to be careful to use like a soft tooth. I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, but anyone who's like brushing their teeth needs to be careful to use a soft toothbrush because you don't want to if you use like a harder toothbrush, you don't want to make your teeth or your gums bleed on Shabbos.
Yes, yes. So we have our dentist has given us these Shabbos toothbrushes. I don't, and maybe my wife's buying them on her own already. Whatever. It's okay. It does the job for one day, but
Eichler's in Brooklyn has a website, and I know in the store, I don't check the website, but I know in their store they sell the Shabbos toothbrush.
okay. So anyone who's in Brooklyn or
But
on
you could buy it online through Eichler's.
all right, sounds like a plan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna stop here. Any other questions before we go?
No, but this class brings up more questions than you bring up topics.
That's the idea. That's the idea that we should schmooze through this halacha and all become smarter and help us in our Shmir Shabbos, that we should keep Shabbos at its best. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Danny, for posting the. Anyone who wants to please take down the.
That's a great item, though. I've seen
And
it.
somebody just posted excuse me, an Israeli toothbrush. So also,
Yeah,
thank you so much, Rabbi.
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Excellent.
you, Rabbi.
That's Kehilchatah. Yes, you're welcome all, and have a great Shabbos, wonderful Shabbos. Take care.